1.
Okay, if you haven't met me, I'm Cameron. These are the various coaches of the different teams. 10 minutes, Darlene will give you some signs. Begin when you are ready.
Good afternoon, judges. In a world where climate change is on the rise, the dairy industry is experiencing transformative changes. Fonterra is a well-beloved and well-renowned name in New Zealand, which is a big contributor to New Zealand's economy. However, Fonterra needs to pivot its strategies in order to meet the current climate demands. Today you asked us on how Fonterra can best optimize their time in this uncertain time and best deploy their resources.
In regards to our analysis, with there being such a multitude, we've decided to break down two in regards to the environmental, social, economic factors affecting Fonterra's case, and we try to identify the two that have the biggest knock-on or trickle-down effect. So in regards to our environmental issues, we've looked at the milk curve being the seasonal changes that Fonterra is facing, as well as the weather impact in regards to the crises caused by global warming potentially. In regards to our social aspects, we've also identified the two biggest key stakeholders for Fonterra being the farmers as well as the consumers. And with the economic analysis, we've looked at the supply and demand fluctuations going up and down inconsistently, as well as Fonterra's global reputation, resources and capabilities. We'll now move on to the two key issues.
So through our analysis, we have identified two key issues, being the unreliable supply of dairy and the lack of farmer retention. The issue regarding unreliable supply, the meaning of this is that Fonterra has a current unreliable supply of dairy amidst the current seasonal changes. The impact of this is a decrease in inventory, a decrease in sales, and therefore a decrease in profit. Our second issue revolves around farmer retention. There is currently a weak bond between farmers and Fonterra, and therefore the impact of this is a potential risk in farmer loss, which therefore means a decrease in supply and therefore a decrease in profit.
The first strategy we have implemented to address issue 1 is to create and build on existing partnerships. This will thereby increase the supply where supply is lacking. It will manage excess supply when there is too much, and it will also increase profit accordingly. The first implementation to address this strategy is to create and build on existing global partnerships. We will do this by creating an AI tool which will allow for existing data to be inputted and input current social, environmental and economic data. For example, implementing and inputting data regarding the weather fluctuations and cow's nutrition will help forecast the lack of supply. Through this, we will reach out to our existing global partnerships in Asia and Latin America and create mutual benefits. This will allow them to provide milk when there is a lack of supply and thereby increase Fonterra's supply. The second implementation is to create and build on existing local partnerships. Fonterra has a good reputation and a high brand awareness, and partners will be willing to partner up with Fonterra. For example, bakeries and universities will want to gain dairy, and therefore it will allow Fonterra to give excess supply where needed.
In regards to our second strategy, we've also looked at the social aspects of our analysis, and we sort of want to see the second strategy implemented amongst the first one as well. So with our second strategy, we're looking at a key stakeholder being farmers. We want to increase the farmer retention rates, which in turn will increase the supply and increase the farmers' morale. We feel like Fonterra existingly isn't doing enough working with or correlating with the farmers, especially in regards to the crisis mitigation that farmers have to face alone or with an insurer. So in regards to the implementation of our strategy, we are looking at establishing effective communication channels between farmers as well as Fonterra. So this could be done through either monthly meetings, allocating a fund so we can have social events. The implementation that we really want to push towards Fonterra would be to hold a committee for farmers or perhaps a union. This in turn will allow Fonterra farmers to have a collective voice together to share their opinions collectively with Fonterra, but also will allow Fonterra to implement strategies a lot more effectively, displaying them or projecting them to this committee. We'll now move on to the financial aspects of both strategies.
As we can see on the screen, there has been approximately 5% decrease in their revenue from 2012 to 2013, and we are assuming that this is because of the 10% of excess supply they were not able to combat or sell and did not know what is happening. So using our first strategy, we divided the 10% of excess supply into our global partnerships as well as local partnerships. So we're going to use 8% of that excess supply and transport it to different global and provide it through different global partnerships and have a revenue of 1,864. We also assume that 25% of total revenue for the company comes from the milk products and dairy products they are supplying. So we're going to use 2% of that excess supply and build into local partnerships and get a revenue for $93 million, which gives us a total revenue of $1,957 million in our first strategy. Moving on to our second one, the case provides us that 85% of New Zealand farmers have already partnered with the company, but because of lack of satisfaction due to various different reasons we already discussed, there has been an increase in retention rate. So using all of our implementations, we are assuming that there's going to be a 10% decrease in their retention rate, which will in turn be translated into a 0.3% of increase in revenue per year, which gives us the number of $55.21 million. Now, as we can see it in the value graph, that both of our strategies in total gives us the total revenue of $20,656 million, which is an approximately 10% increase in their revenue from 2013.
In conclusion, we have identified two key issues, one being the unreliable supply of dairy, and two being the lack of farmer retention. To address issue one, we're building on our current global partnerships with our AI model to predict and forecast when we might have a lack of supply, and then reaching out to those global partnerships, and it'll be a mutual benefit because we will supply them with dairy when they lack dairy, and then they can help us in our times of need. And we will also be partnering with our local businesses to get rid of our excess supply. In terms of our second issue, dealing with farmer retention, we will be setting up a committee in order to maintain morale and to provide a communication channel where the farmers can express their concerns with Fonterra. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, team.